We got the Ravens going down to Dallas, to Jerry's World, to take on the Cowboys. 4:25. I assume that's the Fox game of the week. It's got to be Fox game of the week, right? Right. How we feeling about this matchup?
It's a winnable matchup, and I think we will win. We're going to have to win, or the season is going to be derailed until further notice. With the Bills looming and the Bengals looming shortly thereafter, that we're going to have to go down to Dallas and handle business. This is what happens when you lose to a Raiders team at home that you're not supposed to lose to, and this is what happens when week one, you just are a little bit underprepared as far as for the moment. I mean, I think we played a great game versus the Chiefs, but we were out coached, out schemed, and in the end, we took that out. So in this scenario, we're going to an environment in which Dallas was blown out at home last week. They're going to be angry. They're going to be upset. The fans are going to be angry. I'm sure Dallas Cowboy fans all week have been tearing into their team, their quarterback, their defense, so on and so forth. So they're going to come out motivated. And on our side, it's kind of the same deal. There's been a week long tirade about John Harbaugh, understandably. Daniel Falehi, he's public enemy number one right now, so much so that we're hyping up Ben Cleveland, a 4-year player that has never done anything in his 4 years here. He's had some decent, snaps, I guess, last year when he was filling in for Zeitler, but we're gonna have to figure something out on that O line. I read somewhere that the idea what they might be trying to do is bring Rosengarten along slowly and let and allowing Makari to kind of rotate with him at right tackle. And the plan obviously is to let Rosengarten full time take over that right tackle spot and then possibly move Makari inside. Something that he's better equipped to do than play tackle, even though he has the versatility to do both. So I think there's hope for the horizon, but we're gonna have to play our best game and coach our best game. It was mentioned Rosengarten was doing a pretty good job on Max Crosby, and there was confusion as far as why he was taken out of the game so much. It might be time for us to take the training wheels off and just let him do what he does. He wouldn't be the first rookie tackle to sit there and get snaps. When Ronnie Stanley was a rookie, he got snaps. The best 5 should be out on the field because we have a $185 million quarterback sitting back there, and we got to protect the investment. And, status quo, we're losing, so we're going to have to figure things out so we can start winning again. We haven't won since 2023. I want to feel what winning feels like again, and I think this week is going to be an incredible opportunity to do so. And if we do not win, sound the panic alarms.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Just like, what do you expect? What do you expect out of the Ravens? You come into the season with the with the roster I guess you thought you had, what they said they believed in, and like I said, the offensive line is not what they thought. I don't know what they seen in camp, but why they didn't make a trade. I don't know what's going on with that line. But it's gonna be a tough game. That like you said, Dallas is not. They just got blown out at home. They're not gonna them same mistakes they made last week against the Saints. They probably not gonna make them same mistakes again. It's gonna be hard to win. Like I said earlier, you see with Chris Jones, and you see what with Max Crosby due to that right side of the line. Micah Parsons might have a field day with that right side of the line, so it's gonna get scary. You like the article say, like John Harbaugh said, like it's pretty much Lamar put us on your back. How much can he carry though? How much more can he carry with this line like this? He has no time to do anything. So I don't know. I'm more pessimistic than everybody. I don't know. That Raiders game is a big letdown. I don't know if they can go to Dallas and win. Are they good enough? I don't know. I thought they was good enough to beat the Raiders. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're good enough to beat Dallas. So I guess the jury's still out on them right now. And John Harbaugh at Ravens. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect for them. I expect them more already, and they haven't proven or shown anything at all. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a proven game. It's definitely a buck up game. Because if you lose, I always think John Harbaugh should fight, but he should. You start the season off 0-3, man. It's time to go. It's time to go. Things not going to get easier from here.
All right, just real quick. So, what would be your keys to win this matchup?
Hit me on a slant. Give me keys to the inside.
They took the keys. We don't have any keys.
Now give me the keys.
Yeah. I mean, every week we see the offensive line, right? I'm tired of that. Because they're gonna let you down. You already know what's going on with them. That's not even fake and put confidence in that. So I'm gonna say, I guess to keep the run game, just control the game. Be strategic with the run. Like those 1st and 10, you don't have to just go out there and keep pounding. Like come out throwing the ball a little bit and then feed off the run, let the run, and then play off the run. I think that's the key to the game, controlling the time possession. Just got to slow it down a little bit. I think the offense tried to move too fast as well as a bunch of 3 and outs. Get a little rhythm, because the Cowboys going to score points. And let's be real about it. They're going to score some points. If what we've seen from the defense, the Cowboys are going to score. So I think the Ravens are going to have to put some points up, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Just control the game. I expect to see a hyper-focused team, but we'll see. Like I said, I expected this from them, but that's my key to the game. Just to control the game, the run game, the screen game. The short tight end game. Just control the game. Keep it at. If you can keep the sticks between 2nd and 4, 2nd and 7, you got a great chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at 2 desperate teams right now coming into Sunday, considering the way the Cowboys lost last week and us 0-2, with staring 0-3 in the face with Josh Allen coming to town next week for Sunday Night Football. So it doesn't get much easier. But looking at this game, just from the Cowboys versus Ravens, I mean, the Cowboys aren't running the football very well right now. Their leading rusher only has 56 yards through the first 2 games. So it's going to be we're going to have opportunities to stop the run, but can we stop the pass? We've given up a 100-yard wide receiver in the first 2 games. CeeDee Lamb is no slouch. So you're going to have to be able to generate pressure, especially at the tackle positions. Their interior linemen, they're solid. Didn't give up much pressures. Cooper Beebe, their center, he's a hell of a guy. He doesn't give up much from the interior. But last week, their 2 tackles on the outside gave up 11 pressures. So now I'm looking at Owe and the pass rushes. Can we get to Dak Prescott? Can we generate pressure? Can we try to put our secondary in a position to win? Because obviously we can't cover. So if we don't generate the pressure, it's going to be a long day. So that's really what I'm looking at for us going into this game. Everybody's saying the right thing though in the locker room. You hear from Lamar, you hear from Likely. They all saying the right things. We got to clean it up. We got to do right. But it's just been a lack of attention to detail the first 2 weeks with this team. I think Nick says it best. It's Lamar, please. And that's not going to sustain through a 17-game season. It's just not possible. So I agree with what Keys just said. You're going to have to control the clock. You're going to have to run the football effectively. Get Derrick Henry out on the outside, some of those stretch runs where he's more effective. He's not running well up the gut right now. So get him on the outside. Get Lamar in a little play action, boot rolling out, getting some runs. So it's a game where I feel like the Ravens should win. They can win. But I also got to take it out of my mind. This ain't the 2023 Ravens either. Like, we keep leaving food on the table. And I'm hoping this is a get right game. I really am. I don't want to be pessimistic, but Dallas could beat us Sunday. But I'm ultimately I'm gonna roll with the Ravens. I think we win the game because we got 8 back there.
Last week, Pro Football Focus said that Kyle Hamilton allowed 7 catches in coverage, Marlon Humphrey allowed 6, and Brandon Stevens allowed 5. And what that tells me is, Keith already alluded to it, but the secondary is not holding up this end of the bargain. I don't know if Kyle Hamilton is hurt, if he's plagued with something, if he's trying to fight through something and just doesn't want to let anybody know. But he's not the same player that we saw last year. And that's not what we need. We need an all-pro version of Kyle Hamilton as opposed to the one that's being carried and dragged on people's backs. Same with Marlon Humphrey. This is akin to the Marlon Humphrey we've seen over the last year and a half, but we need him to figure something out and stop the bleeding. Brandon Stevens, he's a good player, a little bit inconsistent though. We still need him to find that consistency. And define what he is in the league. Are you a shutdown corner? Are you somebody that we can depend on to limit on one side of the field? Or are you somebody that, from game to game, it's just variability? So we're going to have to find some answers. You know, Keith mentioned the pass rush. You know, the pass rush has been consistent. You know, we've been able to get back and get pressure on people. A varying amount of players too. It's been not just one player or two. It's been several. You know, taking turns wreaking havoc. We're going to need a lot more of that. Dallas is a potent team, especially at home. And one thing that I fear is anytime they get into field goal range, they have a kicker that's automatic. Kind of reminds me of Justin Tucker in his prime. Brandon Aubrey, I mean, you know, this guy can hit, 65, 66 out with no sweat. And we're talking about playing in a dome this week. So everything will be in his favor. We're going to have to limit their chances. That means no turnovers. That means no short fields. That means, just playing sound football, no stupid fourth downs calls, no challenges for no reason. You know, John Harbaugh is going to have to be at his best. He's going to have to coach this game like a playoff game, but that scares me because John Harbaugh coaching the playoff game like that.
Right.
He faces somebody in his family tree of knowledge, though. Mike.
Yeah, it's true.
Mike McCarthy.
Family tree of knowledge is crazy.
Tree of knowledge. That was a good one.
Yeah, they're in the tree of knowledge. But I mean, you talk about the Cowboys up until last week. This is a team that plays well at home. They have won 16 straight games at home up until that debacle last week against the Saints. So they play well in that dome. So you got to take that into account as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know who to pick. I'll pick this game at the end, I guess, because I got to really think about
y'all
Micah
seem
Parsons.
so down.
I got to think about Micah Parsons and with that right side of the line, and what I seen from 77. Right now, I got the Cowboys.
You seem a little too happy for beating. To beat Bo Nix, you seem a little too confident. Like
Bo Nix and Kurgan.
Sound like Mark Schlereth. I don't want to hear that.
A little too confident.
What's Mark Schlereth said?
First, he said that they was going to beat us by 3 touchdowns.
funny.
He said they was going to beat us by 3 touchdowns. Then when we beat them, it was, you beat Bo Nix. Yo, I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Say that now.
Go hit him.
It's easy to say it after the Bo Nix. When you have to play a decent team that's going to put pressure on you.
What we do when we play Lamar? And it's kind of early for that because we don't see y'all till. But what we do when we play Lamar? You feel me?
You don't stop nothing. We be dropping taxes.
What? He had one decent game against us. One. So how long he been in the league?
So last year was the decent game?
That was the only one.
Okay. That's fair.
The only one.
That's fair. I mean, listen,
and the one time that he beat us, and the one time he beat us, here, you can have these if you need. And the one time that he beat us, I think Duck and Mason played. It don't matter who back there. It don't matter who back there.
Hey man, y'all better make the playoffs and make a run for all this. You know what I mean?
I'm
gonna remember
get a win.
I'm gonna remember
get a win.
He gonna cop a
the North remembers.
Playoffs. You talking about we better make the playoffs?
I'll be back, Sco. This 2-0.
Are you Stern 0-3 down the shotgun barrel?
You right. Listen. I'm gonna shut up now, but I'm gonna be talking again.
I want you to. I never want you to not talk. I never want you to not talk. You can be, if you 0-6, I want you to talk. Right?
Okay. It's gonna be less talking, please.
If we 0-6, this show over.
No.
Y'all just gonna get School Still review. That's it.
Y'all just gonna sit there? That's crazy. I'll hold it.
I log on every Tuesday for you.
I'll call in like I was start.
You gonna be Joey?
Start calling like Joey and shit. Like this on Friday.
He's the All-American. That's crazy.
I'm gonna start calling with my picks.
So, Nick, what's the matchup you got your eyes on this weekend?
I mentioned
you gonna be up front. You gonna be up close. I hope they hold you down.
Listen, man, it's gonna be a weekend consumed with alcohol and spirits and fun, but
yeah,
I'm hoping that they don't ruin it for me. My matchup, I mentioned it, man. The secondary, I'm gonna need somebody to take out CD Lamb. I don't know how we're gonna choose to defend him. Whether we're gonna bracket coverage, double teams, if we're gonna just try to man him with Brandon Stevens, being that Brandon can be a little physical. I don't know how we're going to approach that, but we're going to have a solid plan to stop him and stop that passing game. And it's not just CeeDee Lamb. You know, Brandon Cooks can get off if we forget about him. I'm not sure if Jake Ferguson is totally healthy, but if he plays, that's somebody in the seam that can cause havoc. We saw what Brock Bowers was doing last week. So listen, man, we're going to have to really figure out how to stop CeeDee Lamb and make that our number one objective, because you know, Dak is going to be looking for him, and they're going to throw the ball 35 to 40 times this week, being that they're still trying to figure out what their run game is. You know, Zeke, well, actually their top back is Rico Dowdle, you know, from snaps. If you just look at the snap share and the opportunity share, you know, Rico Dowdle and Vaughn are their top backs, with sprinkling in whatchamacallit, Ezekiel Elliott. So right now they're still trying to figure out their identity, the run game, but we already know that Dak doesn't mind having to drop back, you know, 40 times and do what he needs to do. So we're gonna have to be ready for that.
Keys, what's the matchup you got y'all on?
Yeah, just the run game. It's not just
okay.
Yeah, that's just control it, just the run game.
Keith,
yeah, I'm going. I'm gonna go Micah Parsons against the
I was about to
offensive line.
say,
Yeah, that's the matchup you gotta watch. Because that's the matchup that can ultimately blow this game up.
Yeah.
I think he's alluded to it. Chris Jones, Max Crosby, two excellent pass rushers, but Micah Parsons is also in a class of his own when it comes to pass rushing. So I've heard the rumors of him kind of saying he may be a spy this week, but that also could just be a little bit of gamesmanship, or that could be the family tree of Mike McCarthy and John Harbaugh that I alluded to. Because if Micah Parsons is going to be a spy and they're not going to rush him, they're doing us a favor ultimately.
Yeah, and I hope that again, like Rosengarten had good work last week against Crosby and put some good film out there. If it's something to where he's more of a natural pass protector, we gotta let him play more. I don't know why we're trying to bring him along slowly, as if he cannot handle it. But you know, John Harbaugh or whoever's making these decisions, we're gonna have to play our best five. And if our best five means you scrap your plan of trying to bring a rookie along slowly, then scrap the fucking plan.
Yeah,
Time is calling for it.
Yeah. I feel like we one of the few teams still that employs that archaic mindset of a rookie you gotta almost slowly earn and bring them into the fold type thing. Like, why is Nate Wiggins not consistently out there? Granted, the injury this past week, but we saw it even in the preseason with him playing into the third quarter. Like, why are you doing that with your first round pick? Same thing with Rosengarten. Just throw these guys out there. They're gonna learn by experience. They're gonna learn by playing, and he look a hell of a lot better than what 77 will look like.
Speaking on this O-line, it's been a lot of Ben Cleveland talk. I hear Ben Cleveland talk at work. I've never heard this much Ben Cleveland talk since he's been drafted.
It's
that's when you know it's bad if we talking. Yeah, that's when you know it's bad.
This is Devin Duvernay all over again, just on the offensive line.
Like, I'm walking past people at work and they're like, "Yeah, I got to see what Ben Cleveland does." Ben Cleveland. So Ben Cleveland he responded to Harbs and what Harbs had to say about him. Am I correct?
Yeah.
What is he responding to? Like,
because Harbs called him out and said he didn't. I guess people was asking why he not playing more or something like that, and he was saying like he didn't win the spot in camp. He hasn't outplayed anybody. He knows how he should practice and how he should prepare for games. Basically saying he ain't doing what he got to do, but who cares? So we've been saying that for 2 years. Like, he hasn't won a starting job all this time. Why you call him out now? I think it's just weak to call him out. Like, call somebody else out. Call yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's weak to try to switch the blame to somebody that we already know who's struggling. But we know he's struggling. So what? I mean, that's like stating the obvious. Like, say that I was bad, that I mismanaged the clock. Well, I can be better with my challenges. Say that. But to try to use somebody as a scapegoat, that's that's what we're used to at this point.
This was the quote. There weren't a whole lot of right guard reps taken by me during camp just because of injury and all of the above. So just staying ready when my number gets called to go in and play. I feel like I've been my most consistent and most proactive throughout camp. It's been a struggle having to move around positions with injuries and stuff like that. But as far as adapting to other positions and just playing where I'm at, I feel like I've been extremely consistent and competitive. That's Ben Cleveland's quote.
And last year, to be fair to Ben Cleveland, Like I mentioned earlier, when he filled in for Kevin Zeitler in the last 2 games of the regular season, he totaled 64 pass blocking snaps, and in those 2 games only allowed 2 pressures without a sack. So he wasn't a complete revelation, but he was competitive, like he mentioned. My issue with Ravens fans trying to make this as if he is Joe Thuney or prime Marshall Yanda is usually talent finds the field. Right. So we're talking about a year 4 player, someone who hasn't regularly played or found the field. It's not like it's a conspiracy against Ben Cleveland. John Harbaugh personally picked Ben Cleveland. That was his guy. Like, I remember the stories where he was talking about asking Eric DeCosta to trade up, and Eric DeCosta saying, I had to fight the temptation to trade up for Ben Cleveland. I was so happy that he fell to us, and then 4 years later, he's barely played, barely contributed. And now we're acting as if he's like the second coming of Christ. We got to stop. Okay. I understand, though, because Daniel Falehi does not inspire confidence in anybody. But, I think the main issue with the Harbaugh quote, it just seemed like he was very defensive. Reporters are asking, why aren't you looking at alternatives? The person that you have appointed as the starting right guard is playing horrible. I think a lot of it is instead of protecting both players, right? Because we clearly see number 77 struggling, and whatever, I don't know what it is with Ben Cleveland and John, but something's there. But instead of protecting both of those players and being a leader and a coach, he gets defensive and starts mouthing off to the media about why Ben Cleveland this, why Ben Cleveland that. Saying he hadn't won the job, which is fair. He didn't win the job, but you chose who won the job. So some of it is on you too, John, right? So maybe you chose wrong. Maybe you made a bad choice. It happens. Maybe you should be taking some accountability as well, to Key's point. But regardless, it's been 2 games. I think the line looked better week 2 than it did week 1. So if that's the silver lining, cool. We're just going to have to keep me personally, I think John Harbaugh should be more open to experimenting. And when I say experimenting, not putting a 6'8", 360-pound tackle at guard. That's not the experiments I want. When I say experimenting, put the rookie at right tackle. Move the person that can play 4 positions inside, which is his natural position, and make him more comfortable at guard, because Makari has started games at guard for us. We've been good with him at guard before for us. So that wouldn't be shocking if he was just playing right guard. But again,
I was just ready to say that too. I was going to ask you if you would like Makari at guard and then Rosengard at tackle on that right side.
Everybody, Chris Long was talking about Rosengard as a rookie that caught his eye, and said again, like every time he was matched up with Max Crosby, he was holding his own, and he seems like a more natural pass protector. And it confused him that, you see him doing well, and then he has to come off the field and Patrick Makari is in the game. Like this rotation, it seems forced. And again, it does seem archaic. It does seem like John Harbaugh, is doing some stuff his father used to do. I don't know. But again, this is what happens when you don't get with the time. And you living in 2012. Like, look at Puka, people like Puka Nacua, different position group, but you can't be scared to play your best players. I don't care if they're year 1 or year 10. Like, play your best players, man. Or face 0-3.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm cool with anything that doesn't have 77 on the field. I don't care what you do, as long as 77.
He deserves to be cut at this point. Like, he should be on somebody's practice squad. He should not be starting and protecting a $185 million quarterback.
He looks worse than Big Al did for y'all. And that's saying a lot, because Big Al was terrible for y'all. 77 looks bad. He looks bad. Can I bring y'all some joy?
What's the joy, Scott?
We got Terrell Suggs. We got Marshall Yanda. They up for the Hall of Fame. First of all, let me show my respects, because they were great. Either or first ballot.
It's gonna be a good question.
Definitely. I mean, I would think that Suggs would be, until he ran into maybe his off the field trouble. They political like that, where where I feel like he is a first ballot Hall of Fame, but because of who needs to get in, they'll use that and make him a second ballot Hall of Fame. But I think Marshall Yanda is the first ballot offensive guard. You can name top. You can run off top 5 names. Marshall Yanda probably one of the top 5 people you're gonna name, along with the Alabama because he was that good, you know. So I definitely think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. But just a shout out to Ozzy, man. A real one, a real draft.
How many Hall of Famers would that? How many Hall of Famers would that be for Ozzy?
Got to be 5.
A lot.
Yeah, that's
Reed, Ray Ogden, Suggs, Yanda.
Reed. Yeah, you say Reed. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Just my 2 cents. I think Suggs is. I forgot all about the recent events that happened with him, but he's definitely first ballot. Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time champ. What 130 plus sacks, like that resume.
He's 8th all time.
139. Okay, yeah, that resume is elite. It sucks that they do hold your personal because it's like, dog, we talking about on the field, the political stuff. I mean,
what's the personal? I don't think it was that. We don't have to recap it, but I don't think everybody knows about it. I don't know if it's like that impactful. And it didn't affect football either. And if we're talking about like post career, I mean,
no, it was post. It was post.
Yeah,
it was post because it was like last year. It was post.
I don't know if that is going to keep him out. I think if as far as first ballot, I think if anything is, who still has to wait their turn, and if those people would push out a first ballot opportunity for either of these guys, because really we're talking about Suggs, who is probably one of the best modern pass rushers the league has ever seen. And, 17 years, that's longevity. And we got to remember, he tore an Achilles midway through his career, came back, and was still Terrell Suggs. And this was before Achilles surgery and rehabs were as advanced as they are now. There was real fear that he was done. I remember that. He was playing basketball, I think. People were pissed. Like, oh, my God, I was playing basketball, and he tore his Achilles. And, he was able to come back quickly. I think he actually had a speedy return and came back and had double-digit sacks. So, he was just a monster. And then Marshall Yanda, it don't get no better than that as far as at the guard position. So it just depends on who still has to wait their turn because, there's a lot of talented people that are deserving, as far as that Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with all 3 of y'all said. I mean, you're talking about Sizzle, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, 7-time Pro Bowler. He's been an All-Pro, last row pass rusher that we had in Baltimore, honestly, where you could count on somebody to go get you double-digit sacks every season.
It's tough.
It's tough when you think about how long he hasn't been a Raven. Yeah, but he's getting there, I guess. But
he had a good game last week.
No, I think Suggs, I definitely think Suggs is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like Nick said, it depends maybe who's in front of him. I don't think there's no question about Yanda. Just the longevity, the way he played the game. It don't really get much better than that class act. And same for Sizzle. I think they both could go in.
Listen, when you think about Terrell Suggs and you think about him being able to win a Defensive Player of the Year on the same team as Ed Reed and Ray Lewis,
that says a lot.
Yeah,
like he was an equal. He wasn't like a step below. Like somebody like Haloti Ngata, I hold them in high regard because I remember that opposing offenses had the game plan against his size and speed in the middle. So he's one of them unsung heroes that don't really get that much respect or as much respect as he should get, but he was a game changer. But I still wouldn't put him on that echelon of a Reed or Ed. Or of a Reed or Ray Lewis. But as far as Terrell Suggs, he was an equal. He's on that level. So when you're talking about Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, some of the top the top players of their position, I got to look at Terrell Suggs and say that, hey, he was just as much of an important piece to what we were doing as those 2 players. So
definitely,
I would have to think that hopefully he gets that respect.
In that DPOY season, he had 70 tackles, 14 sacks, 7 fumbles, had 2 interceptions. We went 12-4 that year. Ed Reed won it in 2004 and Ray Lewis won it in 2000 and 2003. So it was only right he got his eventually because they was like a 3-headed monster.
I know if you ask Ben, he'll definitely say that Sizzle is a Hall of Famer.
Like that's like, if we being honest, that's back when Steelers Ravens really felt
Yeah,
like
that was the
Steelers Ravens. Like that was the
golden age.
That's
yeah,
what
those are the golden days of it. Yeah,
people get smacked over the middle. Hans Ward, Bart Scott, like Ben
Ryan
getting
Clark.
hit. Ryan Clark, like bro.
like, look at Ben right there behind Nick. That picture looks.
I just noticed that this whole time.
I did
not.
too. I think he turned the
nice
camera there
picture.
because we 0-2.
I really,
Because I ain't seen that before
noticed.
either.
I never really
good.
noticed.
On the
It's pretty
show,
good.
at least. Yeah, I ain't
Not
seen
saying
it
that
on
you
the show.
redecorated.
No,
I
I
never
missed
really
that.
noticed it.
No, I got Ben Dade right there, man.
Ben Dade.
Listen, hey man, I gotta cling to the memories, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's
It's
been
been
a
a
while.
long.
It's been a while. I'm not mad at you.
You don't even know
I'm
what
not
a
mad
win
at
feel like. Like goodness.
Man, I've been watching
Between the
old
Ravens and the
highlights
Orioles. Shout out Tony Taters today, but
Oh
goodness.
God.
you. I don't-
I said, "Oh God, damn." they
been
salute to Tony.
Can we just get to the playoffs, please?
I hope so.
You gonna creep in?
He's struggling to get there.
Yeah, you gonna creep in, mess around in Detroit, gonna run you down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about one of these days because that's been one of the more surprising revelations recently. Just seeing, not even surprising because over the last about 90 games or so, we've been a 500 team on the dot, but it's like surprising as far as like the collapse or thinking that culturally that we had turned around the corner, being a winning organization, but
This hurt more than the losing seasons, honestly.
this is
Like,
very familiar.
You know what to expect when you
Both of these.
losing, but we had such a high expectations, and like now it's like it hurt.
We got players turning on the manager. You got the manager doing dumb stuff nightly.
Got the
not
GM
being-
saying blame me. Like
it's bad.
At least Kimbrel gone.
And that's bad too. I mean, that's great, but it's
Should've
just
been gone, dog. Should've
that's
been
when
gone.
you admit failure, and we gave that man $12 million for a team that don't spend money. For a team
We've
that doesn't
been
spend money.
saying Kimbrel be gone since like
Wait.
May, dog. We've been saying that since like May, though. Like,
I said it the day they signed him.
the wild thing, the pitching ain't been too bad lately. They can't score no runs.
Can't hit the ball.
Now it's like it's one or the other.
yeah,
That's the tail of the order.
Can't get his foot on the base. Like it's one or the other.
Can't do one or the other.
And then you think about it, like how much better would we had been if Craig Crumble hadn't crumbled so much? Like,
Craig Crumble.
Right, crumble.
That's
you know what I
wild.
mean?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like he's cost us a two handful of games. Like we could have been in a better position to handle this slump right now. This slump is hurting us right now.
Now we fighting to have home field advantage in the damn wild card round. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
We had to go to Kansas City. We probably we're gonna lose 2-0.
Yeah, it could be tough. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I know I said last episode we was gonna carve out some time to talk about the Orioles, but I think that's enough. Because if I talk about them anymore, I'm gonna get upset.
Gonna crash out.
Now I'm gonna get upset because it shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be like this.
Like,
And I think all four of us can pinpoint why it's like this. And that's the problem.
We about to crash out soon, dog. I feel it.
Listen, somebody better win this weekend. That's all I know.
We're about to crash out. Dog.
Somebody better win this weekend, whether it's the Ravens or them damn Orioles. You know what I mean?
Something
when it's-
gotta get.
We
Where's
lose
that one
Sunday, I'm
series?
taking a Jameson to the face. For real. The whole
Wow.
fifth.
Well, we're gonna go to the first commercial break, and then after that, I'm gonna show you how not to crash out about something. Nitty Gritty.
When I want some sports news, Nitty Gritty is definitely who I'm tuning into, man. They show up each week with that uncut, that raw, that unfiltered sports news.
They say the things that everyone else wishes that they can say, but they can't.
Every Tuesday and Saturday, I am locked into my favorite sports show, Nitty Gritty.
Nitty Gritty, the best show out right now. Tune in and listen, stupid.